Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time, but what I've been working on and trying to figure out how to finish up has led me to where I am right now. Today, I am waiting on my Temu skid steer to arrive uh, via 18-wheeler truck that's supposed to come and drop it off. So, uh, this is where I'm at, and the process hasn't been too bad. I ordered on May the 30th, and it's supposed to come today, which is June 10th. So not too much of a long of a wait, and the communication between me and the transporter has been really good. They've contacted me now 2 days in a row, so that's good. The first time they contacted me to let me know that they would be delivering it today. So, you know, let's see how all this goes, and I'll show you what I've been working on too. All right, guys. All right, guys, let me show you what I have been working on. In the background, what you'll see is a dilapidated shed of mine. It's pretty rough, and it was getting to the point where I was going to have to replace the entire shed, at least the roof and the walls and everything. So, for the most part, it is pretty much watertight, but it has some damage from termites and things like that. And I've had this shed probably about, I don't know, 30 years or so. So, well, maybe not that long, about 25 years. So it's just time to replace it. And I've outgrown this shed pretty much the first year that I got it. And so, anyway, I thought I would just first start out just doubling the size of the shed, and that would be great. But then I was like, well, it'd be nice to actually have a full-size garage, because the shed itself is on a 12 by 16 pad. So I decided to dig out another 12 by 16 by hand. Of course, all this when I first started was by hand. So anyway, I dug that out by hand, and I went ahead and got some steel stakes to frame in for the concrete and the gravel. Anyway, and honestly, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So, at least, on my own and by myself, and I've never helped any of my friends do this. But, I dug all this out and, asked one of my friends and said, hey, is this good enough? He said, yeah, it's good. I said, okay. So, this is where I started. And then I decided on a whim to just go ahead and to do 3 more of these 12 by 16 areas to make it totally be 24 by 32. So anyway, like I said, this was digging all by hand, and that's how much dirt was removed. And at first I thought it'd be a really good idea to put all this dirt on plywood, and then I really didn't realize how much dirt I would be removing. But I was told the best time to dig is when the ground is soft after rains and things like that, since I was doing it by hand. So I took advantage of quite a bit of rain that we had. Anyway, you can see the shed and everything. This is at night because I would dig from when I'd get home till it got so dark I couldn't see. And I just kept digging. And then I realized this is going to be a lot of dirt. But anyway, so I called one of my friends. He brought me a load of gravel in, and I laid down the plastic. I started putting the gravel down just to move some of the gravel. And then I realized I needed to remove more dirt from where I had previously laid the gravel. So that was, kind of like, oh man. But anyway, so I started, figuring out where to put the dirt and how much bigger to go and everything like that. So here I am realizing I got to remove more dirt by hand. So yeah, and see, here's my gravel. And then I realized the mistake that I had told my buddy when he dropped the gravel off. Like, man, that's a lot of gravel that's going to be in the way when I dig out more of this dirt. I said, well, I'll be able to move it around. Anyway, and I'm doing all this by hand. So you can see I've got my rebar stakes out there trying to figure out how much more dirt to dig and everything. Then I realized, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to bust up this concrete ramp that I've used for years to load my mowers and everything into my shed. Anyway, here's a little bit more close-up of the shed. So yes, I know I just left it, and see the roof is starting to fall in at the top there, and water leaked down and everything, and the fascia board's coming off. I knew I needed a new shed, but I just didn't want to invest any money into this shed since it had termite damage and it started having water damage as well. Anyway, so I'm off to, still taking pictures of the same thing, just understand it. So then I finally, by hand, with a metal spear, busted up that concrete. And this was probably the hardest thing I had to do. So anyway, so there's that concrete. Anyway, oops, let me go back. Yeah, there's the concrete. I busted up that ramp. So I commenced to once again go back to digging. And there's a good view of the shed when it's closed with my keys in it. You see the keys. Anyway, sorry. So I just kept on moving on, kept digging with hand tools. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to need some rebar holder chairs, so I decided to 3D print some. Anyway, I kept digging and digging by hand, and this is where I got digging by hand. So, and realizing, oh my goodness, I still need to remove more dirt because it was still too high in this area here. But anyway, so I just kept on moving on, kept on digging and digging and digging. And then I realized I'm gonna have to move these rocks. So I got a wheelbarrow and for my cousin, and I moved them over here and put them on a tarp to keep, the rocks from mixing with the grass and everything. So anyway, of course, you see where I realized I need to remove more dirt once I got my framing boards from Lowe's. Yeah. Anyway. And then I moved those rocks over there, and this is the aftermath of having to move rocks. And if you've never shoveled rocks, which I hadn't at this point, the easiest thing to do is to take your spade shovel and shove it in towards the bottom of the pile. And that way the rocks just fall onto your shovel. That's the easiest way, and even though I'm saying the easiest way, doing it by hand, it's honestly not easy. Anyway, yes. So anyway, I kept digging and digging and digging and removing dirt and stuff from where the rocks I had poured on top of the area I thought I had leveled up by hand. It was not that leveled, so I dug out the depth that I felt like I needed to have through there. Anyway, I just didn't want to be digging dirt out that I didn't need to remove out, but it is what it is. Like I said, first time learning experience. I'm like, well, I probably need a level of some type besides a string level. So I did end up buying a laser level to help me with this. Now, once again, I borrowed a rotiller, and it was non-running, and the neighbor gave it to me from my childhood home. And I got it running, and that did help me remove some of it, but it actually, in some instances, also slowed me down because having the rotiller, it does mix the dirt up, break the dirt up freely, but you're still having to shovel and stuff. So, and of course, this is where I did use the rotiller to help till this down. And then finally, after days and days and days of shoveling and digging with the rotiller and stuff, I'm like, this is hard. So I got the laser level, and I put it on there to see how level I was with my string level, and that was pretty good. So you can see how I've got it really level with the old pad. No reason we can't see it over here in the corners because it's hitting those rocks. So, but notice it's spot on everywhere else. So that's when I decided to call one of my cousins and ask him if he would just bring his big tractor in and help me remove some of the last little bit of dirt, which last little bit of dirt ended up not being too much more than basically this little area. You see this area where it's real high right here? Ended up being that, but I also was going to get them to help me pull out any more dirt that I missed when I was trying to eyeball it by hand and by string level. So anyway, of course, like I said, this was a learning process. So as you can see that I need to grade this down a lot more after I finish. And so I realized that this is a lot of dirt to still keep going. See, there's the part. I ended up shoveling all this out by hand, this loose dirt, except that last square. And that last square is what, by the time my cousin finally got up to the house with the tractor, that he had to remove. So anyway, that's when I decided, because I watched him use the tractor, and I'm like, man, he is struggling, because it's a tight space back there, because I have a neighbor's fence, and I've got some other things back there. And that's when my son recommended, hey, why don't you get a mini skid steer? So I got on Temu, and I found this guy. And by the time I purchased it and all that, paid the taxes, it's like $56.36. So anyway, that's what I did. I bought it, and it's coming today. That's why I made the intro the way I did. So I got this skid steer, the model JT380T, 23 horsepower. It's got the bigger, basically Predator Harbor Freight engine clone on it. I think they call it a Roto. So, but yeah, this is the one I decided to purchase. I kept waiting. It's a MMS JT380T. And I've watched a lot of YouTube videos before I made my decision in purchasing this one, but this is the one that I wanted to buy, because it had the larger engine, had all the auxiliary hose hookups. So yeah, and that, of course, you see it's $5635.91 in price, $5,635.91. That's why I said $56.36. So anyway, all right, guys. Oh, when it does come, I will show it to you, and hopefully do a video of it arriving. All right, just got the skid steer delivered. Helped the driver unload it a little bit. All I did was went and got some old wood from some old pallets to help the driver get it off of there. But this is the box it came in. Came in really good shape. No damage to the box at all. Still got the stickers on it. Haven't opened it up yet, but going to. Oh, yeah, nice. So they said it was just right at 2 tons. So let's see, everything's there. It is labeled as a crawler, a GT380T crawler. So hopefully this is the skid steer. All right, let's open it up. Folks, this is where I was going to show you the unboxing, and you see that it's 48 minutes and 45 seconds long, and that is how long it took me to get it out of the box and figure out how to unload it. But I did not consider taking in consideration the sun being out, so my phone got hot being in direct sunlight and did not record all the unboxing. So this is as much as you get, just as like I'm showing here. The phone started getting hot and it started jumping around. See, it's freezing. But I did try to unbox it. I was going to show it, and I just used some, as you can see, force, a big hammer, and I did use caution as I removed this. But one thing that I did make sure as I was removing this, I was trying to save as much of the plywood as possible, because I don't like to waste, materials, just in case it could be reused. So what ended up happening was, as the phone got hot, the video cut out, but you can see that it took me around 48 minutes to unbox it. It wasn't that difficult. I was just taking my time, trying to not just destroy the wood entirely.
and everything. So, but I did manage to get it done. So, you know, just letting you know, yeah, about 48 minutes, taking your time to, you know, unload it. But one thing I did do is I did check the oil, and man, that was hard to do inside the machine. It's really tight cramped, you know, so, but it does come with oil in it. It does come with a little bit of gas and everything. So I did not drain their gas, the Japanese gas or the Japanese oil. I left it in there. So, but I did check to make sure it was filled up with gas. So, excuse me, oil, and it was, and there was gas in there. And anyway, so I wasn't scared. I finally started it up, and I got it off the pallets, so, and out of the box. So sorry I could not show you. All right, guys.
All right, guys, I got the skid steer unloaded. It came with oil, came with a little bit of gas, but I added some extra gas to it. I guess it took me about 35 minutes or 30 minutes or so, 40 minutes to unbox it. Did not have a metal frame around it, but it came shipped pretty good. And the main reason I wanted this model was it has the 739cc Rado engine. So basically like 23 to 25, 27 horsepower, something like that. And yeah, came with 2 sets of keys for the gas cap lock. Came with 2 sets of keys for the ignition. It's got this little switch over here for the battery, so that way you cannot crank it unless that switch is turned. None of the gauges will come on when that's like that. And you got 2 keys for the hood latch. And once again, this model has a cooler and a fan. So you got 2 keys for that lock as well. And you got some lights. Anyway, this is it. Everybody talks about getting a bigger bucket. So I guess the more I use it, maybe I will upgrade to a bigger bucket. And some people talked about reinforcing these things here by putting more metal and some welds on this just to make it to where it can lift more. And they've even done some modifications down here as well and welded some more, but I don't know if this model needs any of that. I like it too because it's got these 3 auxiliary lines. So yeah, and what's great about it is they say that you can pretty much do any kind of repair to these off-the-shelf parts from, say, Harbor Freight or anywhere from your own tool shed if you've got the tools. So, because this is nothing more than a mud motor engine, or you could say a lawnmower engine. So, let me get these 2 hood latches up so you can see inside here. All right, so there's the hood latches. Manual, nice. Here's the cooler. I don't know how hot it is. It's not very hot. It's a little warm. The muffler has a heat shield on it. And like I said, I don't know if this came through in the other video, but they left these where you could actually still switch these if you wanted the fan to blow a different direction. And here's the hydraulic tank. There's the hydraulic pump. I don't know if it's got a certain name on it or not, but there it is. I'll have to be like you guys. I have to look at it, see it. Anyway, I don't know if it's a name brand pump or not. There's the oil filter, and there's some advice on which oil filters to get for these. Of course, you see the 2 independent wheel pump track for the tracks. So anyway, there's that. Oh, and check out that heat shield. And I'll tell you, it's hard to check the oil in this thing. So, but yeah, very nice, very neat. I really like it. I haven't used it yet because it's rained so much here in Tennessee. Oh, there's the battery. That well, it's just rained so much. The ground's really soft, and I don't want to tear up the entire yard and everything. But yeah. Anyway, I want to check see if that other video is saved or not. But here we go. This is it. So let's put the hood back down. Oh, I'm all in $5,600 and roughly $36, and that includes the tax, the shipping, which was free, which I was shocked it was free, but yeah, shipping is free and everything. So yeah, let's do one of these walk arounds that a lot of people like to do.